and welcome to One-Liners from the book of Philippians. It has been quite the day here. You don't need to know all the details, but let's just say that keys got locked inside of running cars, and we needed to be in Hamilton like now, and the extra set of keys went missing, and so quite unexpectedly, I found myself driving to Hamilton this morning. And I kept thinking to myself, man, I've got people to see and things to do, and the last thing I want to do is be driving back and forth on the 403 this morning. I kept thinking, how am I going to do this? There's all this stuff to be done. And while I was in Hamilton, I had some time to fill, so I thought, well, okay, I'm just going to pop over to the grocery store, pick up a couple of things, came out of the grocery store, put them into my trunk, and went like this, and heard this loud crack. And the mechanism that holds your trunk up when you open your trunk broke somehow, and so the thing wouldn't close. And so I spent the next few minutes inside of my trunk trying to figure out how to get this thing to close. And I kept thinking, how am I gonna do this? My instinct was to get stressed out and really upset by it. But there was a verse that kept running through my head, and it was the one-liner for this morning. Philippians 4, verse 13. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. I found myself pausing to breathe and to say, I can do this. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. See, the secret is to rely not on your own strength, but on God's. Sure, we apply ourselves, we apply our time to the tasks, but it is ultimately God who can make these things happen. And so I can tell myself, and you can tell yourself, I can do this. I can do all things through God who strengthens me. Now, that doesn't mean that you should hop into a helicopter, having never flown it before, and say, I can fly this, I can do all things through God who strengthens me. It also doesn't mean that I can go off and pursue my own interests apart from the purposes and will of God, just assuming that God will bless whatever I do because that's what I want to do. It doesn't mean that, but it does mean that in every situation, no matter the circumstances, you can do this because God is empowering you and helping you too. And where this appears in Philippians, Paul is actually saying that reliance on the God who can do anything is actually the secret to contentment. Knowing that in every situation, whether in plenty or in want, we can do it because God is there. Philippians 4:12, Paul says, I know what it is to be in need. I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, living in plenty or in want. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. In other words, don't root your satisfaction in what you have. Root your satisfaction in what God has. Limitless power, limitless compassion. We all too often size up our circumstances in light of what we have or what we don't have. Paul says what we need to do instead is see our circumstances in light of God's limitless ability and limitless commitment to us. We're not depending on ourselves to get through these difficult circumstances. We are not putting our hope in the things that we have or don't have. We are depending on God in every situation, and so we can be satisfied. But here's the thing, it has to be learned. Julie pointed this out to me. She had listened to Charles Stanley speak on this. And in verse 12, Paul says, I have learned the secret of contentment. Not I woke up this morning and I was content. Not not I have discovered the secret of contentment, but I have learned in the classroom of life. You know, in the ups and the downs, in the plenty and in the not so much, what it means to rely on the God who can do all things. So here's your exercise for the next few days. When you have lots, practice depending on God. When you have little, practice depending on God. When you are feeling weak, practice depending on God. When you are strong, depend upon God. Whatever your situation, rely on the God who gives you strength, and God will give you what you need to get through. You can do this. You can do all things through the God who strengthens you. See you next time.